Write this up, actually.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to HoDiGa. It's on a different day, different channel, but still same people.
Same people.
So let me welcome Hogarth from Hogarth's Global Astrology. Thank you for being here today.
No problem. Just getting my lights up.
All right.
It makes a difference. I feel like my hands are free. I'm like,
right, because you're not hosting.
Yeah, just like I get to chill out a little bit and just wait for the questions and just be like,
right. I have them all prepared. And welcome, Lady G. Thank you for coming on a Friday afternoon. So I think it's like 1 o'clock where you are, and we're all in these crazy different time zones. And so we have quite a few people here already, and the chat is like super active. So just, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. And so I got your questions because I had posted on my community tab about that. And I basically do what I do with my own channels. I just go by the interest of other people. So someone will post a question and I'll see how many people like it. And so we'll go that way. Plus I got some for one card polls, because I know a lot of you like doing the one card polls. You liked watching that. And I think, cool, yeah, that was fun. So I got some to finish up with that. So the first one is by Sharon. She asks, what do we see as the ultimate outcome of the J6 committee for 45 and the GOP? Ooh. And she did ask about a couple of other things, but it was kind of like a really long question. So I broke it just into what is the J6 committee going to be like for 45 and also for the Republicans. So I think we should probably maybe read it separately, because I don't think that they're really that attached anymore. I think they're becoming more separated. So
there's at least a little chink of daylight, shall we say? Maybe not quite a chasm, but
exactly
a little bit of daylight between.
So which one are we starting with? Are we starting with
45?
Okay.
We'll look at 45, and then we can pull a few for the GOP. So yeah, the ultimate outcome of this January 6th committee.
January ultimate outcome. 45.
I know the question was longer, Sharon, but we don't have time to go through all of that because I want to make sure that we're fair to everybody.
Trump, Jan 6th. Trump, Jan 6th.
Oh, interesting. This is interesting. Okay. And then I'll pull a few for the Republicans. Oh my gosh. Annalie asks, so someone asked about Toiletgate. Do you remember when 45 was complaining about the water pressure with the toilet? And now we know why, because he was flushing the documents. I mean, because it was so strange at the time that like they were saying that.
Well, I mean, I just find it, when we think of all the Hillary Clinton stuff, lock her up, and you just the hypocrisy. It's duck l'orange. Pardon me, sorry, but it's just outrageous, absolutely outrageous. All right, so I've got cars. And then GOP, yeah? So I'll pull cards.
So I'm ready. I can start with 45.
Sure.
It starts to speed things up for him. And I know there's a bit of a glare, but we're actually doing this during daylight for once over here. So it's the Knight of Swords. And so I think things start to speed up. This is a card of action. So he can't just turn away and pretend like this isn't happening. Things are happening. His obstacle is, oh boy, he doesn't know what to do. He gets the Hanged Man. He's going to have to see things from a different perspective, which is not his forte, but he is going to feel sort of stuck. But like the Hanged Man, it's always self-induced. When I looked at the outcome, I do get the card of grief, sorrow, despair. It's a card of loss. And when I asked Spirit why, well, the Moon card, deceit. disillusionment, doing things in the dark. And we know that he was, right? We know lots of things now. And he was shredding some of the documents that was related to January 6th. And it's all coming out. Now, I have to say, when I look at the Republicans, the cards are by far worse. Starting off with the devil.
Wow.
So this committee is going to have a real effect. And I think it's going to expose some of their sins. And greed at the end of the day. Their obstacle is they don't like the choices in front of them. They are going to have to make choices, you know, either change who they're following and who they're promoting within the party. You know, like I've said before, they pitch their wagon to somebody that's ultimately going to jail, followed by the death card for their outcome. And so I think this could actually have a profound effect on their party. But you know what, though? It could lead to something better. At the end of the day, you know, I think this probably needed to happen.
Yeah.
Okay,
who would you like to go next?
Who is ready?
I'm
Whoever
ready to
is
go.
ready. If you're ready, Hogarth, then we'll go in that order then. We'll do that.
Brilliant. So what I've got here with my card. So the first line that I've got is for Duck L'Orange. Yeah, Duck L'Orange.
Yeah, yeah.
And in regards to the Jan 6 committee, how's it going to come out? So what are they looking at? Yeah, they're looking at, oh, crumbs, it's backwards. I always forget. They are looking at his relationships, deals, partnerships, everything that everyone and everything that he's been colluding on. Yeah, working together, teaming up with and stuff like that. So that's what they're looking at. And then the next card I get is, look, here we are, the King of Pentacles, but reversed, which is what basically him, his finances. You know, this is when it's the right way up. This is a man, of course, who's got a lot of resources, a lot of access to resources, etc. Here, this can be a mean-spirited and stingy man. Yeah, one that is just consumed with greed, trying to hold on to every single penny. This is the bad businessman. This is the grifter. Yeah. So here he is trying to like grift as much as he can, try and get as much as the money in as he can. But look, he's delusional. He's delusional. Yeah. He's gone completely crackers. He's still spouting his stuff, and everyone I think is getting tired of it. Well, I think what people are trying to do is people are trying to unglue their hands off the wheel of the crazy bus. Yeah, because it's just been too much. Also, as well, we get the star reversed. So of course, when it's the right way up, we're feeling blessed by the universe, looked after, etc. This can actually deal with feeling neglected, abandoned. It can even deal with issues in regards to health as well. And I think what's going to happen here, this in a way, if this is the star rising, then could this be Donald Trump's star falling? Yeah,
which
because
would kill him.
Yeah, everything.
You know, his ego is so big, right?
Exactly. It's all deflating. And what is it going to ultimately about? Look at this. Trying to get away with something, and it's the Russia card. Yes. So could it be that ultimately what makes his stars fall? Because now there's this wall. There's not a paper trail because he's flushed the toilet, obviously.
Well, he tried.
He tried. But it shows, obviously, he's trying to get away with something, and he is leaving a trail, whether he's aware of it or not. That's what I would say. So there's that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was supposed to talk about the GOP as well. Sorry.
Yes.
They're worried about their money, look, their finances. Yeah, because that's all they really care about. Joe Biden's doing his thing. He's come in the obstacle position. So they're like, oh, goodness. Their schemings and their predatory natures and all of their kind of shenanigans that they've been doing is being exposed, because ultimately the electorate will realize they were the false knights. They have been left up the duff, so to speak, and left to kind of, you know, they're just blocking kind of stuff. And ultimately, there will be a question of whether or not they are even fit to govern. it's really going to come down to certain things. And this could be certain books thrown at them, maybe by the current administration, or just people, or some people in authority of higher wisdom, who are basically like, we need to unglue ourselves from the Duck L'Orange cray cray bus. So that's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, Lady G, what did you get?
Well, underneath of it all, you know, it's the swords time for Trump. They're going to be looking at those that were involved with it and the manipulations that he was manipulating these people into what they were doing, the January 6th stuff. So this is going to be time for him, a retreat time. That's going to be strengthening, taking him out of action. There are those that are going to testify, come out about his dealings when he was there, the happy merchant. Okay, make it happen card. And again, this is about his time of wanting to rule. And I did this one, you know, I don't ever pull them upside down, but I checked with the pendulum, and his, you know, truth meter is, as we all know, on the fritz. So he's going to be found out by the January 6th commission, and he's going to be taken out of commission with that. So let me get these other ones here real quick.
Sure.
So that I can see. Okay, GOP, underneath of it all, they're facing losses. I like that she's dressed as the widow. They're losing.
The divorce from the, you know, the orange from the tangerine.
That's it. That's it. Their husband is going underground soon. So, again, looking at all the nonsense and the things that were happening there, the Seven of Cups, all the illusionary things that they had around him, and you know, the false knight. They're meditating on stuff that just is not, you know, not going to benefit them. Now, I like that one. He's all covered with incantations and everything. But the GOP, 10 of Swords time again. He had 10 of Swords. They're having 10 of Swords time. Tower moment for them. Wow. We have such a big shakeup now with the GOP, you know, with McConnell, the mud turtle out there, you know, saying.
They're all fighting each other now, aren't they? Starting to fight.
Yeah. Which bus is going to leave the station? So we have here also the happy family of the GOP is going into rest now. I like this rest. It's like the pit and the pendulum is coming down.
I mean, that is, sort of Damocles, I think. Yeah, wow.
Yes, yeah. So, you know, it's not really restful for them, but the pit and the pendulum is on its way. The truth is starting to come out, and it's going to settle up the emotions of the whole GOP. So they are in the midst of this big shakeup. What are we going to do if mein Führer is found out for what he is? So we have those jockeying for position now, trying to leave that bus.
Wow. So lots of synchronicity between our cards. I mean, none of us got real positive cards on either 45 or the GOP. I mean, it seems pretty obvious. I just want to say thank you because we got some really lovely donations. Thank you, Dr. Liz, Rhonda Rue, and Leslie's Garden. Like, that's so kind. And I will split it, you know, amongst us. So that's, thank you. Thank you. So the second most liked question was from Gertrude. And I think it's something that we really haven't talked a lot about. But Gertrude is someone that I know pretty well. And it makes me a little sad that, you know, she was asking this, but I know we all know that this is happening. So she asks, as an older woman and Asian, will attacks on older Asian, especially women, escalate or ease off? How long will it continue? And she was talking about like how she's afraid to go on walks by herself. And you know, I mean, these attacks on Asians aren't okay, you know, but it started with 45 accusing them of causing this whole
Yeah,
pandemic. Like they personally did this somehow,
yeah,
you know, and some of his followers latched onto it. And
yeah.
so, yeah, let's take a look at, you know, these attacks on Asians and, you know, is it going to get better? Is it
Because
going to
because
ease
the thing
up?
is, unfortunately, with Duck Larange's energy and those that follow him, he uses very blunt and simplistic terms. And when he was using things like Kung Flu and all this kind of stuff, and just
Yes.
very, and not differentiating, which I think
Between,
we
right.
exactly between, because there is the regime that is in China, yeah, which is, you know, we know what they're about, but they're the regime, and they're in another country, and
Exactly.
that has got nothing to do with all Asians suddenly all over Earth being
Right?
like thrown literally under the bus and targeted. And it's just ridiculous, and it's just exhausting. So
It's just,
what's the question again? It's like,
so the
well,
question is, will the attacks on Asians ease off? Are they going to stop? Is it going to get better?
okay, well, that's okay.
You know, because if you ever get to meet Gertrude, she is an extremely spiritual person, very sweet, and, you know, does not deserve to feel like this. It's going to get better. I'll start. It is going to get better, but it's going to take a bit. My cards are not fast moving cards, unfortunately. So I think, you know, Page of Wands, we'll start to hear, right? Pages deliver news. So we'll start to hear better messages. Like Hogarth was just saying, like differentiating between, you know, the Chinese regime and just individual Chinese people, and just more normalcy coming through. But the obstacle is it's not happening fast enough. We're not getting enough change fast enough. You know, this is the Knight of Wands. It's not happening quick enough. Why is it not happening quick enough? Because there are those, High Priestess, with hidden motives and agendas. They have a reason for doing what they're doing. This is not, I would say, even with 45, it was pre-planned.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wouldn't say it was completely off the cuff. It was pre-planned. But then when you look at my next two cards, you get the card of celebrating a milestone and the card of peace, love, and happiness. So it's coming, but it's going to take a bit longer than what we want, I think. What did you get, Hogarth?
Right. So the cards that I've got, they're very interesting, and they're quite dramatic. Let's put it that way. They're quite dramatic. So representing the energy right now, let's say particularly for Gertrude and people that are experiencing this discrimination. Look at this. I get, look,
Oh,
the
see?
Three of Swords, yeah,
Right.
upset, heartache, yeah, over this situation, because, you know, it's just ridiculous. People are being held responsible for actions on another continent that have got nothing to do with them, and they're just being like,
Right.
oh, you're Asian, so oh, there you are, I'm gonna attack you because obviously you are the regime. It's just ridiculous, and it's just childish, and it's
Is childish.
bullying. So when we see the obstacle position, look, this is the opposite of what celebrating, yeah? Opposite of celebrating. This is like the party's over. This is, you know, it can also deal with an aspect of boredom, of tiresome, becoming tired with something. So this is really, we can see this is the Asian community that is getting sick and tired of these kind of jamborees, these parties of negativity against them. Yeah. Now here I get the Ten of Swords, but reversed. So we know the Ten of Swords, you know, this can mean, you know, ruin, being stabbed in the back. So of course there is that element of betrayal. But could it be maybe at a certain point potentially in the future, things may start calming down, and then
Right.
the swords seem to be falling out. But this, obviously, we know what comes before that, which is the betrayal. So a lot of people have
Right.
been targeted, stabbed in the back, even attacked from behind, elderly citizens, literally just attacked.
Yeah.
But what I feel is again, like with yourself, things are not moving fast enough. Yeah,
Fast
because this
enough.
is a chariot, which of course deals with the speed, you know, going forward in a forthright way and boldness, power, and action. And this is the opposite. So could there be that there is a kind of maybe a political reluctance to actually start looking at this and addressing it properly, particularly because particularly in the Western media, you know, China is seen as a threat, and of course, there's, you know, being seen to these connections with Russia and stuff like that, and it's almost like some people are quite happy for those associations to be made, and they don't seem to be interested in stopping this kind of discrimination and actually delineating and just saying, look, these are completely different people. You can't just tar everyone with the same brush. But maybe there might be some kind of tower moment that comes where, you know, and this could mean many things. This could mean many things. Could there be where there is a situation where a line is put underneath this once and for all? Or is there something unexpected that happens, that comes out of the blue, that changes the political calculus? I think that we have to remain to see what comes out of it. But when I think of the Chariot, it doesn't seem speedy. It doesn't seem to be a priority at the moment for those in politics. That's how I'm interpreting that, unfortunately. Sorry
and
about
Gertrude even said, she just said in the comments, she said, and this is what I expected.
Yeah, they're not really taking it seriously, I don't think. That's what I'm getting. I know that's not the best news, but that's what the cards are saying, because, you know, they're wanting, when things aren't working out in your own country, it's, you know, you can project it outwards. Yeah. And China's quite an easy target at the moment. But anyway, I'll leave it there.
All right, Lady G, what did you get?
Well, this one hits home for me. My daughter's half Chinese, for those that don't know.
Oh,
so, you know, this is a bit of a worry with that. But what I get underneath of it all, you know, eventually we've got the death, ending of that transition. But for the moment, it's hung up and people have to see it from a different perspective. And we've got the wheel. It's going to take some time, you know, before this fixes itself, rights itself. So it's going to take us coming together, you know, and I think especially women are going to be forefront of this, putting out that energy and the power to get people to finally walk away from this, because it's an abuse of power. It's absolutely abusive. And so going forward, it will transition forward, but it's again something that we have to really care about, a burden we have to see and really want to put forward the energy to change it. So it will eventually change, but it is same thing. Hang up, people have to see from a different perspective, and it's just going to take time.
Yeah, I think we sort of all got the same thing on that one too. And
I just never get why they confuse what's going on with the country with the people.
Exactly.
Why, you know, why
I wouldn't want people to do that to us.
Exactly.
We're not all like Trump. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. That would be me, like blaming you guys for Trump. It's like, you're white, you're American. Trump, you know,
exactly. You're a hater. You're a, you know, and vilify everybody because of, you know, somebody that's in power is just crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's that oversimplified politics, isn't it? It's slogans, it's slurs, it's just easy stuff to kind of throw out there, and people latch onto it because they don't have to think, because they don't want to think. They just want someone to hate on or attack or whatever for their own whatever reasons.
It unifies people. Having a common enemy, you know, unifies people. It makes them feel like I'm part of a group, which is so sad, because there's such better ways to be productive and feel like you belong to a community and like you have support and friends, but they're uniting themselves with hate. And
well, that's the thing I hate, when I see that people are putting out the American flag or the other flag, because, you know, it's us against them and that same type of thing, rather than seeing the whole world. We're a community of people. It's that divisionary thing. And they go, but I'm patriotic. But yeah, there's, you know, enjoying your country, but then there's this thing that we're better in division, and it just causes so much. So much.
We're a global society, you know. That's the thing. We're all interconnected, and I just want to say we have almost 600 viewers, which is like fantastic for a Friday afternoon, which I know a lot of people are at work and getting ready to go out. If you know,
it's really good.
Right. And thank you to Marvel Johnson and Subi Marie for your donations. Very kind. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay. So next question. I think this has been on, you know, because it's been all over our news here. So it's on a lot of people's minds. This is by Cindy. What is the undercurrent behind the truck drivers protesting in Canada? That whole situation in Ottawa, it's becoming a lot more serious. And she says it seems there is more going on that's unseen. And, you know, when I saw footage today on the news, literally they're flying 45's flag, and they have flags saying "Make Canada Great Again." And I'm like, what are these people doing? I mean, they really just jumped onto that bandwagon. And so I thought maybe we could take a look at, you know, what's going on with these truck drivers in Canada, because I mean, they're plugging up the bridges. We've had to shut down some of our car plants in Michigan because we can no longer get car parts. So it's going to become very difficult to get a new car, which means it's going to be even more expensive to get a used car. And they've had to shut down a couple of plants in Canada. You know, it's affecting Toyota, GM, Ford. It's having this huge impact, and you know, we're feeling it in both countries now, and literally they're clogging up the border between us and them. That they're just and they're honking their horns nonstop. So now if you honk your horn, they showed like, you know, this little old man truck driver that they took away because they won't stop honking, and so like they're honking for like days on end, you know. So it's quite a disruption. I couldn't imagine living there at this moment. You know, my heart goes out to those people. And so I thought we could take a look at, you know, what's going on behind the scenes with these truck drivers. I mean, because they've jumped on the 45 bandwagon.
Wow. I didn't think it would turn that way. I'm here in the UK, so of course they're only showing. So, I mean, like, I've only seen like little bits here and there, literally on YouTube. They're not actually reporting it on the main news in the UK. They did a few weeks ago, but not now. And so wow, okay. Well, this is a completely cold read for me, really. So I'm just gonna see what the class.
Okay.
What's behind the? What's behind the truckers? Because I thought the protest was about just, you know, the freedom not to be jabbed and, you know, freedom of choice and stuff like that. Because they're bringing, but the Trump
7%. Only 7% of them aren't. I mean, 93% of the truckers got it. So this is 7%, but the unions have all gotten together on both sides. The truckers unions are all getting together.
The thing is, what I find ironic though about the Trump thing is that Trump himself has actually come out in favor of the vaccines. Do you see what I mean? So it doesn't actually tally up anymore. like that.
It's just
Because like
bizarre.
Trump
They're
has
flying his flag
categorically
and
said, like I think on 5 or 6 occasions now, he's been like, get the vaccine. So that doesn't even, do you see what I mean? Oh, interesting. Okay.
yeah, it's becoming a mess. And the first card I get, the 10 of Pentacles, there's some big money behind this. There are some real serious financial backers. And I would say it's political, more than say corporations and companies. I think it's far more political. And then I get as the obstacle, one of my cards for 45. And so it's sort of like him and his people that are really helping to push this along and keep it going. It's leading to a lot of burden and oppression, because it certainly is. I mean, it's affecting us, it's affecting them, it's affecting like a lot of these everyday workers because they're not getting paid, and it's going to get really tough to get a car or to get your car fixed. I mean, to get your car fixed, it's going to be a problem. It's going to lead to a lot of heartache and heartbreak. But the thing is, these unions are really coming together as a community, and eventually, eventually there's going to be some sort of balance, some sort of evening things out. They really need to step it up and actually make some kind of a deal to create that balance. So, what did you get, HoGarth?
Right. So it seems that what I'm tuning in here, because obviously, I've got, I don't know that much. But I mean, I've been hearing the story. I know it's been going on for a long time, but I think I've got some answers here of what maybe the Trump connection is. So first of all, the first card that comes up, they kind of feel like their sense of security has been thrown upside down. Yeah, when I look at this, because this card is about what? Celebration, security, marriage. So here it's in reverse. So I'm taking that quite literally as the opposite of security, a sense that their foundations, because this is about foundations, have been shaken up in some kind of way. Yeah. The obstacle card that comes in is, look, it's the Emperor. Yeah, it's the Emperor. But this could also be what? Is this Duck L'Orange?
Right.
But what this card also speaks to is patriarchy. This is the card of patriarchy, male power, essentially. It's about, it can be about logistics, organization, structures, putting one's will out into the world. So this says to me as well, this could also be talking about the trade unionists, perhaps. There is this sense of some foundation being shaken, and it has rattled some patriarchal men, shall we say, yeah, or their sense. Why are they rattled? Because I think they've got a concept, an idea of the past that they feel is threatened, yeah. They want to go back to a time from before, because if you said that over 90% of the truckers are vaccinated, and we know that Duck L'Orange is now pro-vaccine, then it must be. Now, and I'm someone who's like pro-choice, what they want to do with their body, but this means it's actually more about a nostalgia, some sense of principle, some sense of a masculine viewpoint being undermined, threatened. Yeah. I think they also feel like making progress, like it's almost like their dreams and their ambitions, they feel like their dreams and their ambitions, their passions are being halted, held back, kind of withdrawn. Do you see what I mean? If we kind of put this together, we've got the foundations feeling undermined, a patriarchal structure, like trade, could be the unions, etc. Because you said this is probably what, 7% of people, and this also deals with
it's about 7%.
leaders. Yeah, this deals with leaders, but they've got this notion, this idea. There's something they don't want to let go of from the past, and it's very difficult for them. And they maybe even feel like they're being held back. And the outcome card I get here is the Ace of Wands. So it's almost like they don't feel like they can initiate new ideas or take their passions forward in some way, because of course this is the card of ideas, business, things sprouting, things growing. And it's almost like, if we take this literally as the business card, it is almost like by blocking business, they hope to get their agenda moved forward, because really this is the card of entrepreneurship. New things. And like you said, all of these blockades are literally affecting business. And of course, it's not going to help inflation, is it? Or supply systems, which is what I was talking about before. Right. Yeah. And all these planets in Capricorn as well, which are affecting things. So yeah, that's what I get.
All right. What did you get, Lady J?
Well, this is up my alley again. I used to drive semis. I would
really?
Yes, for a year. I drove semis from
There's so much variety in your life.
Yeah, I worked for Starnes out of Whittier, California. We would go up, we would pick up lettuce produce, take it up to the Canadian border, drive up through New York. But when we got to the Canadian border, you dropped the trailer and they would pick it up. You wouldn't drive into Canada, and Canada would not drive into the US. You would drop your trailer at the border, and then they would pick it up and take it. Okay. But it was very patriarchal. Now, admittedly, I drove many, many years ago when there weren't a lot of women drivers. And what happened, we went to drop off a load to pick up our cable. We would pick up cable in New Jersey to drive it back. So we went up there and we went to pick up the cable, and they tell us that your girlfriend can't come in. He goes, no, she's the other driver. Well, only one driver can go in. So he jumped out of the cab and said, then she picks it up or it doesn't go. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. So no, he was a good guy, the guy I worked with. But yeah, it is very patriarchal. And very, it's tough. It's tough. So what I got for this, underneath of it, there's a lot of misinformation and spin out there when it comes to the virus and being ill, being laid low with it, how it can really take you out. And so these things are being worked on. Oh, the other point I was going to make is trucking is a very solitary thing, because you're in there driving. You go to drop off the load. Somebody else unloads the truck. Okay, you're there and you're alone for the most part. You're not interacting with a lot of public. So that could be part of it too. Somebody else unloads the truck. Somebody loads it up. And the only access you have with people is, you go in to pick up your gas. You go into the load, but you really... It's very solitary. You're not around a lot of people. So I think that they think that I don't need to get this because I'm not around people. I'm driving.
That's interesting. I never thought of it that way, but
yes.
that is a good point.
Yeah. So why should I get? I'm not around people. Why should I have to get? So that could be part of it as well.
That would make sense.
Yeah, going into it again, the same thing, the payoff. We're looking at the payoff, and they're feeling like they are being, stymied. You're telling us what we have to do.
Held back,
Yeah, held back. We're looking at the harvest, and they're not liking it and trying to figure out how to go forward. They're juggling this. This is something that's being juggled, and they want to have a victory. So, and they can be very stubborn. I'm telling you, that community.
Right? And they are.
They are stubborn.
They've had to declare a state of emergency up there.
Well, and they know these goods have to get out there. So at this point in time,
they've got a lot of power.
We've got the edge. This is the time to turn the screws. This is the time now to get what we want.
Because we've got inflation. There's global inflation, but this will just it just puts the thing above. Isn't it so fascinating? yeah, I knew all this stuff would be happening with the astrology because we've got all these planets in Capricorn. Today we've got, well, Pluto's going to be there for a while. We've got Mercury, planet of transport, with Saturn and the Sun.
Ah,
On the 3rd, or well, actually on the 1st of March, I think we're gonna have 5 planets in sidereal Capricorn, and Capricorn and Aquarius are all about distribution systems of all kinds. And there's something what I'm gonna call the zigzag. Yeah, the zigzag. And
Yeah.
I'll just, if you just indulge me for a quick second, what I'll show
yes,
you
of course.
here. 1 second, I'll show you. Let's do animated transits, and I'm just going to show you guys something because my phone is free. Let's see. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen?
Sort
I
of.
can see it. I'm not sure, but I can see. But I can see a screen.
Can you see this down here? Can you see any of the planets?
There you go.
Oh, a little bit. A little bit.
A
Yeah.
little bit.
A little
but
bit.
it's tough to read. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what I'll do is, look, I'm going to show something monthly. Yeah. So I'm going to click forward monthly, and you can see the planets move. Right. This. I'm calling this. Can you see that? I'm calling it the zigzag. Yeah. Can you see that?
Yeah. That
Oh,
one
I
too.
see. I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
I'm calling that the zigzag. This is, look, all these planets here in sidereal Capricorn, which is distribution systems, and Aquarius, which is aviation, supply chains, everything like that. Everything is being ruled by Saturn at the moment. And Saturn is government, rules, regulations, lockdowns, or any kind of restrictions.
Yeah.
Aquarius is about distribution systems,
Oh my
aviation,
gosh.
goods and services moving backwards and forwards. And we've got a zigzag.
Perfect storm.
Right.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing because they know that there's already pressure built up in the system. Remember the boats that were all out, unable to unload their goods?
Yes.
So as Lady G's saying, this for them is the time to turn the screw because the stove is already hot. The pizza oven is already hot. So just saying, like.
Yeah. They've got everyone in a vice.
So, all right, this will be interesting. I believe they only have 48 hours left of this protest, and then the government is stepping in. So hopefully they'll talk to them, they'll sit down, and they'll have negotiations. I
Hopefully.
mean, they need to talk. I mean, obviously they need to talk because this isn't healthy for our country, for their country, for the distribution, for vehicles. I mean, they've literally shut down a whole bridge.
Yeah, if I were the government, it's better for them to let them have their way in this instance, because if it is only 7% and the vast majority of accidents, like for example in the UK, they had to drop the vaccine mandates for doctors and nurses over here because 80,000 people said no. 80,000, and we're already like 100,000 understaffed. So of course, you know, and it's just not worth it. So at some point, governments, this is where we're showing the zigzag, governments may just have to concede certain things. It's not worth it. Because if only 7% can basically mess up the whole economy,
shut down everything,
and they're on their own,
plants.
Yeah,
right.
It just affects everything. The government can't afford to carry on with the standoff. So if they've got sense, it's probably better just to concede. They're on their own anyway, like Lady G said. And is it really worth it? Like messing up the whole GDP just for a few people that hardly see anyone? You know, there's that logic as well. But I will leave it there.
It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of days. You know, come Monday, let's see what happens, right? They have over the weekend to figure it out. And
hopefully they get it sorted out soon. And
exactly,
for
all of us.
You know?
Right? I mean, we're already having a hard enough time getting things already.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. I mean, my friend was in a car accident, and she has a Toyota, and she needed, this was before I went to Egypt in September. She just got her car back like 2 weeks ago.
Oh my goodness.
They couldn't get the car parts. They couldn't get the car parts. So, I mean, it's already been a problem. So, all right, let's move on. I just want to say thank you to Melanie Charat for donating. Thank you, Melanie. We appreciate it. Let's do one more before we do some of the one card pulls.
Sure.
A lot of people liked this one, and I didn't even know anything about this, but this question's from Cheryl. Will Tony Evers win his second term as governor in Wisconsin? And so I had to look up who in the heck Tony Evers is. He is a Democrat. He was elected in 2019, and he served 3 terms as state superintendent of public instruction. It seems like he's done an awful lot of good for the state. He's done a lot of work with getting a variety of grants, millions and millions of dollars worth of grants. So I thought we could look at Tony Evers and see if he's going to get a second term as governor in Wisconsin. We must have a lot of Wisconsin friends watching us.
Wow. But I do love a cold read. Yeah, I love a cold read because I don't have a clue. So I just
no bias.
What's he called? Tom Evans.
Tony Evers. Tony Evers.
Okay, Tony Evers. And what is he going to win? Is that the question? Is he going to?
Is he going to win his second term? Because he's already doing one. And he's already had 3 as superintendent of public instruction. So
another term.
I mean, he seems to be just, when I read all of his accomplishments and everything he's currently doing, I can see why people would care.
Okay. Oh. You don't even want to know.
See. Ooh.
Could I get any worse cards?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I might are like.
I mean,
really?
He seems like a really great guy. There's some stuff going on with Tony. Not sure what this is all about, but the first card he gets is the Judgment card. And when I looked at what the obstacle was, it's the moon. So there's more than what meets the eye with this person. And for me, this is also a cold read. I mean, I didn't even know this man existed. I had to look him up. So there could be something that they're going to have to look at. And I pulled another one for an obstacle, and I get my card for a legal battle. So there's something else.
Yeah.
So when I go into his outcome, I don't know if you can see this because of the glare, but 5 of Swords, a ruthless battle, abuse of power. So there's something else that I know nothing about, but it has to do with like big corporation money. So I am suspecting there's going to be a scandal that's coming out. Not something I would have expected after reading a little bit about him today, but that's.
I know it sounds so positive, and then
I'm sorry, Cheryl.
Like, oh my God.
But just brace yourself. What did you get, HoDiGa?
Well,
I hope it's better.
It's very interesting. So I've got some major arcanas that came out. So in the matter of the question, in terms of will he win his position in the government? Yeah. So this is what it's about, isn't it? It's will he win re-election to government? Right. Will he govern? But the obstacle card is quite interesting. It's the Empress, which deals, of course, with what? America. Yeah. It can be America. Yeah. Sometimes I call this the Russia card. I don't think he's necessarily. Well, you never know. But I mean, that doesn't seem to be on the cards. But if we look at this as Russia, so there may be some aspect where Americans don't like something, or there is a sense of, because the Empress is all about abundance, creativity, opportunity, but it's coming the opposite. I mean, it's coming in so this could mean, could there be that there is a lack of abundance, or something to do with funds that doesn't quite work out, or could this be mothers or women don't support him in some way? Maybe something comes out where they're just like, not sure about you, dude. when I look at the next card that comes out here, I've got the Knight of Pentacles. And we know that when this card is the right way up, it's the slowest pentacle cards. This is the loyal, steady knight. But when it's reversed, it can refer to what? The mercenary. It's also known as the mercenary card. But could there be something, when I look at this, there might be some hitch with his funding, or some issue with funding, or something's being reviewed around money. The next card I get is the Ace of Swords, which of course is normally about, the truth, etc. and stuff like that. But could there be something where maybe someone may have lied about money? And when I get the outcome card, look, it's the Page of Pentacles, and that's what? Messages about money. So there's something there which might be a little bit sketch, which may make people pause, and people may question the funding. It could be that maybe he does have the money, but people are like, well, where's it come from? Where's this funding come from? So it looks like there might be some influence there. And this often talks about, pages are all about messages about money. And it could be something to do with schools and education.
Which is his forte. That is his forte.
Oh, is it?
Yes. He served 3 terms as state superintendent of public instruction.
Oh. Well, maybe some mothers or someone's got beef with his record or something like that, because she's coming. Interesting. So there we are. There's something there with how he was funded, or, it may not completely scupper his campaign, but there may be some people may ask questions, and it looks like parents may be like, something like that. That's
I see in the messages, like a lot of people are saying he has this female Republican opponent who is really heinous.
Yeah.
And I wonder how legit, maybe it's not totally legit, like maybe they're manufacturing something.
Yeah, because that's what my last cards are.
Okay, all right. So what did you get?
So what I got underneath of it all is being tied up, facing a loss, and it has, like he said, something to do with, they're going to be talking something to do with money or something he was involved in. But going into it, we see walking away, he's going to have to leave. Again, put that energy somewhere else. In the center of it, end of the cycle.
Yeah.
End of the cycle because of hidden things.
Hidden agendas. Yeah.
Hidden things. He's going to get hung up by a different viewpoint that's put out by what?
So what's that? Was that the devil card? What was that?
The devil. Yeah.
Yeah, the devil.
So
there he is.
9 out of 10. He's not going to get in because he's going to be smeared. False allegations, smear campaign, down and dirty when it comes to his opponent. Yeah. Right.
That would make sense. Wow. That's why the Empress has come up in the opposition, because I had no idea that he was up against a female.
Female. Yeah.
But that would be it. Yeah. And she's probably a mother, and she's probably, there you are. He's up against a powerful female. Yeah.
And I'm glad we read
big money behind it to smear him, to take him out of power. And it's again, it's not. It's probably not based on anything realistic. It's just some made up fantasy that they're going to put out there to smear him, change people's viewpoint. Yeah.
Because I was saying maybe there's lies, because this is the truth, and that must be lies, and this is the mercenary, So wow.
Oh wow! So that I'm glad we read on that, because it was pretty much a cold read for all 3 of us, and but we all came up with the same answers. So that's pretty interesting. Shall we do a couple of 1-card pulls to finish?
Yes,
absolutely.
All right. And this is based on what people were asking. So, is there disloyalty in Putin's inner circle?
Oh, that's a great question.
Is there disloyalty in Putin's inner Circle.
Disloyalty.
Disloyalty.
In the circle.
Is someone
Oh,
betraying
ooh,
him?
God wanted to jump. Is there disloyalty in Putin's inner circle? Great.
Oh, and I just pull out the devil. So
Wow.
that's my one card. So I would say, yeah. Yep. There's somebody fiendish in there.
Oh, I get the poverty card. And when it's this way, you're worried about money and being out in the cold, but this is literally kind of like hitting the skids in a way and having to deal with a real kind of like financial emergency. So could it be the war with Ukraine could end up costing him an awful lot? Perhaps.
That would make sense too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get the Hermit. Usually that's my card for investigations, but I think in this one, he's going to find himself alone. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is some disloyalty going on there.
Wow.
Okay. Will there be another lockdown in 2022?
Ooh.
So at some point before this year is out, are we headed into another lockdown?
Will there be another lockdown in 2022? Will there be another lockdown in 2022?
I get no. People gathering, or they don't care if it does happen, because they're still gathering and getting together and celebrating with friends.
Mm-hmm. Well, I get the Hierophant, but the right way up. So what this suggests is because that essentially the right way up is sort of like a yes, it could be that governments ease off. They may realize that it's because particularly what I can only speak for the UK, but our numbers are really starting to go down now. We literally have almost no restrictions. So that says to me, maybe the government eases off a bit.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting King of Pentacles. So either they put a lot of money into funding some new research and better things that are going to come out, or just monetarily and everything, we're getting better with all of it. So it looks like, it's getting more prosperous.
Yeah, and I think we're going to learn. I mean, I think it's going to keep mutating, but I think we're going to learn how to live with it.
Yeah, to live with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think so.
So let's finish up with this one. That Russian figure skater thank you, Christopher Guala, for donating. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Russian figure skater, Kamila Valieva, who took the trimetazidine, and she won the gold medal, and so now everything's up in the air. Like, are they going to take it away from her? What's going to happen? Because the Russians knew that she tested positive for a substance, and they let her compete anyways. And so now it's up in the air what's going to happen to this young lady. So let's pull a card and see what's going to happen to her.
Wow. Because the updates in the UK is that she was tested back in December or something, and it took them months to come back with. Oh, okay. I've just had a card fall out.
You got one fall out?
Yeah, I've just had a card fall out.
I mean, interesting. I mean, I get the Temperance card, that there's going to be some balance and harmony brought back into this situation. So it doesn't seem doom and gloom for her to me. I don't know. Because, I mean, there's a couple of ways you can interpret this.
Yeah.
Either way, balance and harmony is going to be restored, in the figure skating world.
What did we get?
What I got was, look.
Use of power.
An abuse of power. Yeah. A battle. And some people may be wondering, was it worth it? Because the thing is, I've actually seen this girl perform, and she is extraordinarily talented. And I look at her and I'm like, you don't need drugs, you don't need doping. Oh, what have you got?
A star. That she's a star.
She is a star. I mean, I'm quite a fan of figure skating, and she is extraordinary. She is such a talent. And part of me is like, You don't even need that, because what she can do already with her body, she doesn't need any assistance. Yeah, it's probably maybe something to help her stamina or something like that, but she doesn't need it. She's that good. She just doesn't need it.
Yeah.
And it's not in her system now. I mean, she tested, it's a little confusing, the timeline. It didn't quite make sense to me, but you know, they are going back and forth, and it is going before the Olympic Committee, and they're going to be coming to a conclusion soon. So yes,
it's part of her training. I think that's what it was. It was part of her training, and it got tested. It's not in her system now, but the sad thing is she doesn't need it. When you see this girl, she is that good. She doesn't need anything. Such a shame.
Yeah,
she is good. So we're a little bit over an hour. So once again, like the hour just totally flew by, as always. So thank you everyone for joining us. I mean, we have over 700 people, which I think is amazing for Friday afternoon.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
I mean, thank you for all the donations, and thank Hogarth and Lady G for being here with us today. And oh my goodness.
and just to quickly say, because obviously the show will normally be on a Saturday, but tomorrow I am going to King's Place, which is where I used to work as one of the managers there, and it's a big concert venue. And my old friends that I've not seen since like March 2020 are performing on stage. So I just checked in with them, and they said they wouldn't mind me, I think, maybe filming a little bit. So I'll probably share that on my own channel, the concert, and maybe hopefully get to show you guys some behind the scenes stuff. So yeah.
Oh, that would be cool. Yes.
That would be fun.
And it works out for me too, because Michael and I are going to Cape Cod for Valentine's. So this kind of works out, so Friday it is. It worked out. Thank you all for joining us, everybody. We'll be back on Hogarth's channel next Saturday.
Yes,
except you won't. You'll be at your daughter's wedding.
I'm driving to do my daughter's wedding. So
that's exciting.
Off next week, but I will be back the week after. Absolutely.
Perfect.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's.
Oh yeah, happy Valentine's, everyone.